talk to some educators about what it really takes to educate our kids. Let me do some introductions and welcome back to the show to just about everyone here. This is Philip Boyd, Assistant Superintendent from from Normandy School District. Thank you for being back on the show. Also, Dr. Eric Knost, Melville Superintendent. Thanks for being back. Welcome to the show to Tiffany Anderson, Jennings Superintendent. Thank you for being here. Mike Fulton, Pattonville Superintendent. And Paul Ziegler from the last table. The guest's so nice, we'll have him twice. Yep. From Northwest R1, also superintendent. Okay, so here we have a group of superintendents. I want to know what you guys talk about when we're not listening. But first, I want to start with Tiffany. Because in Jennings, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've accomplished some things that I think other schools would like to maybe emulate in terms of some improved test scores, some turning things around. How did you do it?
We have. We've had a very good year, and part of that has been much of what the prior speakers were sharing with just involving the community. I mean, that's been one piece. Really having our eye on accountability. The standards are high. They're continuing, that bar continues to move. And so making sure that we really look at how we can partner with the community very closely to meet those standards.
What does that mean? I hear people say that, but on a real tangible way, how does that happen?
Well, a variety of things. One of the pieces is just being in classrooms regularly, going and doing home visits. Our teachers, our principals do those pieces. Creatively involving families. We have a food bank. In fact, today we were doing our pantry deliveries. So we serve 200 families. That started I guess about a year ago we opened that. So really partnering parents that come to the PTA, we give them a bag of groceries. So, we may have anywhere from 200-300 parents at any given PTA. I mean, so just, again, thinking out of the box about how do you reach families and how do you engage them in their child's education.
And the things that Tiffany mentioned are so important. I think Paul in the earlier segment brought up the fact that in the current model, a school can be provisionally accredited forever. And the kinds of interventions that need to take place need to happen long before you go from that provisional to unaccredited. And I think there's probably the common ground in all the plans that are out there that we can all rally around is the idea of early interventions, getting in there, doing those things that matter, that help communities build up. The same high expectation should be in place for all school districts, no matter where they come from, no matter what the demographic is, what I should say. But the path to get to excellence has to be different. One size does not fit all, and that's kind of the model we live on.
Mike and I were talking about, before we came out here, just it's really good that there is this conversation at this point, and we said one good thing, actually you mentioned one good thing is that there's this conversation occurring at this point just with all that is occurring with the transfer situation, accreditation, the Common Core standards, all of those pieces, just bringing that to the forefront and really talking about socioeconomics and social justice and all of those other pieces. Now that being said, having been in urban, rural, suburban, and I think I'm the smallest at this table, so when you talk about does the community look different, even though we're 4 square miles, we look very different from school to school. From over 90% poverty at one school to perhaps 70% at another. I think a common factor, at least in my opinion, is relationships is a huge piece. So the conversation is occurring now. That is a very good thing. The hope is that the engagement from the community level and not just talking about what's going on, but being in the schools. Reality is that schools that are low socioeconomic schools are performing at the top of their state all the time, nationally. It happens. It is possible. What we're doing in Jennings is just showing what's possible. And so with knowing that, to say what's a common factor amongst all of those schools, whether you're in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, whether you're in Tennessee, no matter where you are. And a common factor surely is a relationship piece from the parent to the staff to so forth. Hold you accountable. So if my child is not reading and I know that by the end of first quarter, then I'm going to make sure that I am up there. And if you are not up there as a parent, someone should be looking at that very closely on a regular basis and really tracking that data. And so that accountability piece to me is a large item. Me personally as a superintendent, but also as a teacher, the question before was, what do teachers have to deal with? Well, I am a teacher and my classroom just looks different. That's all. It's just larger. All superintendents at this table are teachers. And so one of those pieces is understanding the challenge, but also making sure that we can intervene early to address those challenges.
Tiffany pointed out, you have to have some measure of accountability somewhere, because every child deserves the right to succeed, and we need to make sure that's happening. That's the purpose of the accountability system.